Just getting my stride.
Hi, Amber. Hi, Kathy. Okay, well, I am gonna, because it's 6:01 now, I'm just gonna dive in and mute all of you guys. Well, we are so excited, you guys, for our Dash to Director call. And obviously you see who our guest speaker is tonight. And Eric, I just want to bring you up to speed just a teeny bit before we get into our call and who these amazing group of leaders are. But basically I ran a challenge. We're in the home stretch of it. And they all had to opt in this. So our normal team call is right after this. But this group of our team, they paid $100 to participate, and all they had to do was get on the calls for 7 weeks in a row and submit a form weekly that they were reaching out to 10 people and what that outcome was. And then throughout the 7 weeks, either enroll 2 people with qualifying orders or create 1 consultant, and they get their money back. And for those that rank advanced, I'm matching that. So we have this kind of unique group here that's like so committed. They're so fired up. I've watched all of their businesses grow. Kathy Rowland has already hit Crystal Director. Like Keith is on her tail, Laura's on her tail. Like there's a couple people here that are like just in the home stretch of it, but it's been super fun to just dial in with people that are really motivated, really driven, really catching the vision of 2.0 and the special season we're in with Isagenix. So now that you kind of realize who you're speaking to right now, and none of them are brand new. I mean, some are newer than others, but they've all been around for a while. They're very familiar with our products, the compensation plan, and just really hungry, I would say. And you guys all know Eric Hoover is our Chief Visionary Officer. He's also one of the founders. He's Jim and Kathy's son. And he is the dad of 2 beautiful children. He has a daughter and a little son. And he's over in Australia. He's been over there, I think, a lot longer than they originally intended because of COVID-19. But it's an honor to have him on here. And I am going to interview Eric a little bit tonight. But I will say, of all of his accolades and all the growth that we've seen him do with Isagenix, the one word that always comes to mind when I think of Eric is that he's authentic. You know, if he doesn't like something, if he does like something, his feelings, he just has so much heart and so much passion. And we are so grateful for his leadership and your boldness and your integrity. And like, it's so exciting to have you guys on here. And for those of you that don't know, that is why we have START. So a lot of us are in START. I aged out last year, but you know, the young movement of Isagenix and just the vision behind that and that movement. We're so excited to have you on tonight.
Oh, thank you so much, Lauren, and thank you for, of course, your leadership over the years. It's just so special to see what you've created. I will still never forget, I don't know what it was, 6, 7, 8 years ago when you jumped on stage after the event at New Year Kickoff with like 8 fired up women, and you're like, just watch out. We're all racing for Crystal Executive. And that was like when you were just getting started, and just to see what you've created and your leadership and your consistency over the years, I'm just so grateful. And it's great to see everybody on the line. Love to see that everybody's got skin in the game with this group here, making the investment. And just, you know, we're at such a special time, as you said, Lawrence, a special season within Isagenix to see what's happening, what's coming, like what's this new kind of birthing of Isagenix 2.0. It's lighting me up every single day, and it's you're gonna like what you see. So it's just gonna keep getting better and better.
I'm trying to record a little bit on Instagram and mute at the same time. I was like, I want to get some of this. Okay, so the first thing I'd love to ask you tonight, because some people know your story, but surprisingly, some people don't. And if you could talk just a little bit about your exposure to Isagenix, you know, and even your early resentment to it, it would be great for people to kind of know how you went from that to our Chief Visionary Officer.
Yeah, so I obviously I've been around Isagenix since the very beginning. My parents co-founded the company 18 years ago now, and I've really been around this profession of network marketing literally my entire life. My dad's got over 40 years experience in this industry. My mom's got almost 30, I think now. And so I've just always been around it. And you know, when Isagenix first started, I was 14 years old. But I was also kind of like, I was a product of what, you know, my parents had kind of gone through in this profession before they started Isagenix. And what I saw them experience before Isagenix was such like enthusiasm and belief in what this profession stood for and what it could do for people. But I also saw them really discouraged and let down by many companies within the industry. You know, I saw my mom rise to the top of several network marketing companies as a top income earner, only to kind of see the companies that she was building either they either went out of business or they got in trouble by regulators or something happened. And I saw my dad do a bunch of consulting for other network marketing companies. And I saw him get really discouraged as he was starting, you know, to consult, because the longer he got kind of in the trenches with these companies, the more he started to feel that the ownership and the leadership team just didn't really, it just wasn't really about the people. And so they were just kind of frustrated with companies just kind of continue, not really able to fulfill the promise of this profession. And, you know, there's so many great companies out there in this profession that do make this industry proud. But their goal when they started Isagenix and their vision was to really create a home for people that they could count on for the rest of their life. That's a feeling that they never really felt that they had, and they wanted to create that for other people. And a company that was based around all the right values, integrity, you know, health, just all the things that they knew that they could build a company around. And so because I was kind of a product of seeing that experience and see my parents go through some hardships, when they started Isagenix, again, I was 14. I was, you know, rebellious. I was doing my own thing, and I used to literally bring home products from other companies to try to get a rise and tick my parents off. And so, if you have family members that are resistant, and most of the time, family members, whether it's your spouse, whether it's your kids, you know, we can be the most stubborn and the most skeptical and give people the most grief. And that was what I did for literally 6 years. And so if you're having trouble getting some of your family members to join you, it took me 6 years, and my parents own the company. So there's like hope. There's a lot of hope. So just don't push it on them. Just like keep doing your thing, be consistent. And if the timing's right, it'll happen. But when I entered university, that was kind of when the light bulbs kind of started to go off for me, because Isagenix quickly became, when I left home, Isagenix became my just easy go-to foundation for wellness. You know, before college, before I entered college, my foundation for wellness was my mom's home cooking. I could count on, a stocked pantry full of organic foods. I could count on her home cooked meals every night. That was my foundation for wellness. I didn't have to think about it. You know, my mom had it done. But when I moved away and went to college, that foundation for wellness went out the window, and I was on my own. And most college students, they don't have a foundation for wellness when they go to school. Their foundation for wellness becomes, you know, pizza and beer and top ramen and toxic, a very, very toxic foundation that leads to people putting on 10, 20, 30, 40 pounds in their first semester of school. And so that was kind of my clue and my kind of action step that I needed to say, okay, Isagenix is going to be my foundation for wellness that I'm just going to stay consistent with. That's going to take the thinking out of it for me, that I can just, use every single day and still go out and have fun and enjoy college, and not have to worry about putting on weight and living this toxic life that most college students live. And so as I was going through college, I was on a golf scholarship to Arizona State University. That was my passion. And my parents kind of sat me down and they said, going into my third year of university, and they said, we want to support you in pursuing your career in professional golf. I know we know that's your dream, that's your goal, that's awesome. But when you graduate and you leave and you're on your own, just know that, we're not going to sponsor you. We're not going to go pay for your travel and your expenses and, your tournament fees and all that stuff. And golf's an expensive sport. So you're either going to have to find a way to, pay for it on your own, or you're going to have to find your own sponsors. And they said, but we've got this vehicle of Isagenix where you can just, you've already got a great experience on the products. You can go to work your last 2 years of school. form a team of young people and be in a position where you can really build an asset for yourself, so that when you graduate, you'll be in a position where you can go sponsor yourself because of the income that you've earned through building an Isagenix business. And so really all they did was they just kind of, first they waited for when the time was right. They never pushed anything on me. Even when, you know, I was bringing home shakes from other companies. And they just, when the timing was right, after I had gotten a good experience on the products, they just kind of knew what my goal was and what my vision for my life was. At the time was golf. And they just kind of positioned Isagenix on a platter in a way that, hey, if you go to work, you can go pursue your dream. This is just a vehicle to get you to where you want to go. And that's when it just kind of all made sense to me. And so my mom challenged me, as she does with everybody, to contact my 20 most motivated, passionate young people that I was going to school with. And we used to rent out the conference room in the apartment complex that I lived in and just run meetings every Tuesday night. This was like pre-social media. And I invested about 2 years into building an Isagenix business. And my parents always said, you know, if you want to join us later on in your life, building this with us, you know, kind of on the corporate side, we know you don't want to now, golf's your thing, you know, that's great. But if things change, know that you have to build a business first. You have to know what an associate, a distributor goes through. You have to be in the trenches. You got to know what it takes to build a team, host events, handle rejection, everything that comes at you in this profession, you have to have gone through yourself. And that's the beautiful thing about my parents, is that they've been in your shoes. They've walked it, lived and breathed it every single day. And they wanted that same experience for me. And so as my golf career kind of started to come to a close, the light kind of started to go out for me, the passion. And so I was always kind of resistant to fully step into Isagenix, like on the corporate side, and join my parents, because I was just scared that they were just, I was just gonna have to live up to who they were, and I put a lot of pressure on myself. But it wasn't until I really immersed myself in the greatest product that we have in this company, and that's the community. This community has empowered me in every single phase of my life. It inspires me to be better. It's allowed me to just be around people that like look for the best in you, and you can just like embrace all of your flaws and imperfection and just commit to this journey of being better and helping other people. And I made that decision about 10 years ago, and it's the greatest decision that I've ever made. You know, everything that's good in my life, my relationship with my parents, purpose, waking up every day fulfilled. I met my wife, Peta, in Isagenix, our 2 kids, like everything that has resulted in like great things in my life has been a product of making the decision to go all in. And that was a decade ago, and to see where we're going in this new decade and where we're committed to for the long haul, I've just never been more grateful and excited to be a part of this company.
That's so awesome. I could listen to you and your mom and your dad tell your stories over and over, and I'm like, sign me back up with the president's back. I'm ready. I'm doing it all over again. So you actually just ended in a way that is perfect for another question that I have for you. In the 10 years that you've been with Isagenix through various roles, and I mean, I think everyone sometimes looks at network marketing, or any business for that matter, any entrepreneur business, and it's like, you know, just like we think weight loss is going to go, and that's not the case. And it's always kind of, you know, we hit plateaus, we have wall kicking moments, we grow again, sometimes we take dips. Like, this is just that path. Can you talk a little bit about, like, over the years, maybe what Isagenix has done and the shift that we're having, and why you're so excited about 2.0 for those that didn't, you know, get the email maybe over the weekend, and where we're headed and why now? Like, I mean, I feel I personally am on them every single day. Like, you guys are going to miss this. Like, if you are not right now in this momentum, and I would love for them to hear for you of what's happening right now.
Yeah, well, you can see I start to get like, you start to talk about it, I start like rolling up my sleeves, I get antsy in my chair. Like, this is, I literally cannot sleep at night knowing what is coming. And as you said, I've been in Isagenix for 10 years now, and I've just seen I've seen it all. anytime you commit to doing something and you've kind of been through something over 10 years, you see so many different phases of the business. And it's just like in life. I mean, you think about where you were 10 years ago, and you think about all the events in your life that have transpired in your own personal lives over the last decade. I would bet that you've had some just like epic times of where you're just feeling like everything's going right, and things are just flying, and you're thriving and you're feeling great. You go through those phases and seasons within the decade. Then you go through other seasons where it's like, it feels like the biggest struggle, and you're just facing so much adversity, and everything feels heavy, and you're just like, it's foggy, and you just can't see yet, and it's just like so unclear. And so, we go through all different phases of life, and it's the same exact thing in business. I mean, no business in the history of businesses has just continues to grow by like 50% year over year over year over year. I mean, you think about the biggest companies on the planet, you think about Apple, you think about all these big companies that have stood the test of time. They all go through all the different phases, and they go through them, like all of them, in kind of 10-year increments. And so just kind of knowing that when you're getting started in your Isagenix journey, you're just so much better equipped for when, like things are just going right, and like, you're riding this wave of excitement and everything's going so well. But then when adversity hits or challenge hits, or, your business is plateauing or starting to decline a little bit, just knowing that it's like, okay, like this is normal. This is just a phase. It's a season. I'm going to be so much better because of this experience. And, when everything's going right, it's fun and it's exciting. But at least in my experience, in my life, all the epic fun times I've been through, they're so great, but I didn't really learn the most and grow the most during those times. They were fun, but I didn't grow the most. It's the times of challenge and adversity and like struggle where you look back on your life, and in the time, like in the moment, it sucks. I mean, it's like, this just sucks. But you look back on it a year, 3 years, 5 years later, and it's like, that was literally the greatest blessing that ever could have come into my life. Whether it be a breakup that you had, whether it be just, losing your job, whatever it is, whatever struggle you've gone through in your life, coming out of it and the growth that you have to experience and the person you have to become through it is always the greatest gift. And so within Isagenix, over the last 10 years, again, we've gone through crazy times of growth. We've also gone through times of plateau and even decline. And over the last 18 to 24 months, it's been a difficult season within Isagenix. It's been a time where we faced a lot of challenge. We've gone through adversity. We've had people leave. We've had employees leave. We've had people in the field leave. It's been a kind of a full-on last 18 to 24 months. And it's been one of those seasons in the business. But because of that season, like what is now transpiring and what's kind of been boiling under the surface over the last 6, 12, 18 months in this new kind of birthing of this new phase of Isagenix 2.0, it couldn't have happened. It could not have happened without the adversity, the challenge, and the struggle. It just wouldn't have happened that way. And so I look back on the last 6, 12, 18 months that we've had, and it's like, yeah, it was challenging, but I think it was probably the most important time that we've ever had in this company's evolution, because it's allowed us to, I've never seen our team, because of what we've had to go through, I've never seen us more focused, more aligned, more clear on where we're going. And basically, as I've been putting out videos out there over the last few weeks, this whole new Isagenix 2.0, we are reinventing this company. Isagenix, beneath the surface, is going through a whole reinvention. And we are committed to delivering on 3 things. And that's what 2.0 is. I mean, people ask me, what is Isagenix 2.0? It's us consistently deliver on the 3 strategic core initiatives that we have in the company right now. First one being product innovation and upgrading our core products within Isagenix. That's always going to be a strategic initiative for us, but something that you're going to see literally in the next couple months is us starting to upgrade our core products within Isagenix, making like what we've built this company on, some of the best products in the world, we're going to make them even better. And you're going to see a big one dropping in July at the virtual celebration. So that's number one. Number two is the one that I get like so excited about. It is upgrading all of our marketing, our branding, our messaging, telling our story in a compelling, unique way to the masses. You know, every single touch point within Isagenix over the next 3, 6, 9, 12, 18 months is going to be elevated. We want to create elevated wellness experiences for people for a lifetime. The tangible things, like from the experience that you get from when you open your box. So it's like beautiful and elegant, sophisticated, modern, to the experience that you get when you visit our website or your own personal replicated sites, to the experience that you get when you take the products out of the box, and you, like, every little single touch point just makes you feel like you're treating yourselves by being a part of Isagenix. And so we're just highlighting the experience that we want to give people, because we feel like that can be one of the biggest differentiators that we have. In 2002, when Isagenix first started, like, the wellness space was just not very crowded. 2002, we were talking about grass-fed, undenatured whey protein. We were talking about intermittent fasting and how important that is for your body. We were talking about that 18 years ago. And now today, everybody's talking about it. It's like nuts. I mean, there's just new intermittent fasting protocols. Everybody's talking about grass-fed protein. And I think the secret with what we have, still so true today, is the system that we really give people that kind of has it all. But we need to look for other ways besides just product innovation to really differentiate ourselves, because the marketplace is just so crowded today. And one of the ways we want to differentiate ourselves is through that experience that you get where you can't get it anywhere else except in Isagenix. So that's a huge one that we're going to be focusing on, that you're going to see continue to deliver it over this evolution. And then the third thing is upgrading our user experience through innovative technology. So making our enrollment process simpler, easier, just making it so easy to do business with Isagenix, intuitive, responsive. We want all of you, people who are building Isagenix businesses, to have total visibility of your whole organization and what your customers are doing at all times, when they're ordering, when, who's starting to enroll new people, and kind of be able to communicate with these people with such ease through easy access reports and intuitiveness and very responsive systems. So we're continuing to pour millions of dollars into that. You're going to see a big upgrade coming in July just on that initiative. So again, this is an evolution. It's a journey. I wish everything could just like happen overnight and it'd all be done, but you're going to look back 18 months from now, and because of all the wins that we're going to start to have over the next several months, this is going to be a whole new company, but a company that feels so true to who we are, and a company that you're so proud to be a part of. And I'm kind of starting to drip this 2.0 stuff out there in videos I'm putting on my social media. We're kind of preparing for the big splash at our virtual celebration, where you're really going to get to see the new look and feel and experience so much of this stuff. But I guess what I'm getting at is, now is not the time to fall asleep in Isagenix, in your business. It's so great. You guys are all raising your hand. You're marching to Crystal Director. Some of you have already hit it, because the momentum and the enthusiasm that you're bringing into this new season, this new 2.0 season, when all this stuff starts to drop, it's just going to keep getting better and better and more exciting. So it's like igniting my soul, seeing what is coming down our pipeline.
So good. I don't even know what to say. I just want to take it all in. And I love, and this is something that I've said about you and your parents since I joined Isagenix, and I have been fortunate to have spent time around you all, that you're just transparent, and a lot of people, you're not going to hear from a C-level employee, and an owner of a company talk to you about that it being anything but a perfect situation. And to have that rawness, that realness, that's who you guys get to partner with. But the beauty of that is where we can be students and learn and do the same to our team. You can go back and tell them things that you didn't know, but what you've learned and why you're ready for them now. And I just love that you all exemplify that. And I can personally say that through 2018 and 19, like Lori and I have learned more than we have in the other 5 years, because for a while we were like, it might just be us right now. Like there was a couple of like few months, I'm like, we're getting on our own team call. And it was, you know, just trying to pull people and seeing that excitement. So I want to dive into this just a little bit more, if we can keep you with, when you're saying this is not the time to sleep in the business, like what actions are you seeing people that are just really going for it? You know, that you're seeing across the globe, the people that are enrolling a lot of people, ranking advancing a lot of people. Because I think, especially with this social distancing, people are overwhelmed, right? They're either like, I don't know what the normal is going to be like, so they're not doing anything, or they have their other job, or they have kids, and it's like, you have to just discipline yourself or something. Like, I'd love for them to hear that from you, what actions they should be doing, especially with right now your best tips for them to rank advance. I mean, some of them are so close, and we know what can be done in a week. Like,
Yeah, well, first off, you know, the world is clearly, we're all going through this global pandemic right now. And obviously there's so many people that have faced hardship and gone through so much struggle just in the last several weeks. And so just obviously being sensitive to what people are going through right now and being there for people, being there to listen to people and kind of what they've been through, I think is key through this time, and really how, you know, we're responding as people to what people are going through, and really just being there for people. So I think that is number one, really listening to what people are going through. But knowing that we're in a global pandemic, I mean, this, like what the world's gone through, and to literally see businesses that were like thriving 6 to 8 weeks ago, thriving, and then overnight they're gone. I mean, it's just like the world. I mean, I know in our lifetime, we've never really seen anything like this. And what this has kind of done is it's kind of just shined just an unbelievable light on how unbelievable this business model is that we actually have every single day. I mean, to literally be relatively unaffected by this whole thing within Isagenix, with the exception of moving some live events to virtual events, it's like just crazy. And so people right now are looking more than ever for obviously healthy nourishment to consistently nourish their body. I mean, if this pandemic should teach us anything, it's we have to look after ourselves so we can be better for our families, our communities. People are looking more than ever for additional streams of income. I mean, people have lost their jobs. They're looking for something that they can do from home. And they're looking for, probably most importantly, an empowering community. So people are looking right now more than ever. And so I think that, you know, there's three things that I think that, you know, in the business that we always have to be keeping in mind. Number one is enthusiasm. Like, enthusiasm is your greatest weapon in this business. That's what people want to follow. That's what people want to follow certainty. They want to follow clarity and conviction. They want to like be a part of something that you're passionate about. Nobody wants to follow something that like you think you're enthusiastic about, or you're just trying out. People want to know that you are like 2 feet in and you are doing this with or without them. And that's showing through your clarity, your conviction, and your posture. 100%. Enthusiasm is your greatest weapon in this business. It's so much more important about than what you say or how you articulate things. If you show up with enthusiasm and people that you can see that you're like genuinely passionate about what you're doing and you want to help them, that's huge. So that's number one. Number two is consistency. Like, Lauren, you've been relentlessly consistent over the last 7-8 years, and that's why you've continuing experienced great results. People want to see the enthusiasm, but they want to see they're watching you. People are watching you on social media, whether they're liking your posts or whether they're commenting on them or not. They're watching to see if you're still going to be doing this in 6 months. They're watching to see if you're still going to be doing this in 12 months, 24 months, 36 months in the future. They may not comment on one thing of yours, but they're still watching. And what we're seeing right now is like over the last several weeks, we've had our biggest weeks of the year because this pandemic has hit and because so many people have been consistent over the years. It's like now people are in a time in their life where they're just like looking for, they've been sitting in quarantine for the last 8 months or 8 weeks, getting fluffy and fat, stress eating, and they're not feeling very good. And so guess who they're going to think of? They're going to think of the person that's been consistent on social media talking about this incredible gift and, you know, posting before and afters, and just like people that are talking about health. You know, something might have happened in their job or their spouse's job, and they're going to think of the people who've been planting the seeds over the last 6 months, 12 months, 18 months. And that's why we've been starting to have some of our biggest weeks of the year, is because like people's timing is just everything. You know, because people say, some people might say no to you in the moment, but that doesn't mean that it's like no forever. That just might be no in the moment, but in 6 months, it might be a yes, or 12 months or 24 months when something happens in their life where they need a solution. So, but you cannot get there unless you're consistent. That's probably the most important thing, is if you share a vision with enthusiasm and passion consistently, eventually it's going to land on good people who want to link arms with you and believe what you believe and want to run with you. So that's number 2. And then number 3 is, I think, resilience. And we've talked a lot about this. It's so much easier to commit to doing this one time for the long haul than it is to like commit over and then over again. And then something happens and then you get knocked off the wagon, and then you're having to commit the next month, and then you're committing the next month. It's like, that is just so painful and hard to just keep recommitting. People want to know that you are like 100% committed. Nobody wants to be your test to see if this is going to work. People want to know that you are 2 feet in, you've committed one time, and this is what you're going, this is what you're doing, and you're in it for the long haul. And having the resilience to know that you're going to go through things like the phases of the business. You're going to go through the epic times. You're going to go through the really, really challenging times. It's just a part of it. Seasonality. So enthusiasm, consistency, resilience, and sharing the full gift of Isagenix. The full gift is the products you put in your body, the financial wellness opportunity, and the community. That is the full gift. And if we're like not telling people about the full gift of Isagenix, then we're taking one piece of the gift away from people without them even knowing. So just as part of when you're talking to people, making sure that you're seeding, you know, you're talking about the products, but you're also seeding the financial opportunity and showing people how to get their products paid for, or at least knowing that they've got an opportunity to earn additional income, and also telling them about the empowering community that they can be a part of. 2 questions that I love is, you know, if you could change anything about, you know, physically in the way you feel over the next 90 days, what would that one thing be about how you feel? It literally could be, I just want to, you know, lose 10 pounds. Great. Over the next 90 days. It could be, I just want to have the energy and feel like I can keep up with my kids. Awesome. And right there, boom, you've got a 90-day commitment, health commitment about a goal that this person wants to hit. And then the next question, if you could change anything or make any amount of money over the next 90 days that would like significantly impact your life, how much would that be? And most people, they'll say like $200 would just like help me so much right now. If I could make $200, $500 over the next 90 days extra, that would just like relieve so much stress in my life. Great. If I could show you a way where you could literally just get these products into the bodies of other people that you care about, if I could show you a way where you could start earning an extra $200, $500 over the next 90 days, would you be open to show me how to do that? 2 questions that just kind of open up the doors to 2 huge parts of the gift of Isagenix: product, the financial wellness opportunity, and then plugging them immediately into the community that we have, which I feel like is the best product. So sorry, that was kind of a lot there, but
It's so
all that
good. Don't ever apologize. And I've got some notes and they can all have this recording to go back to. It's absolutely amazing. And for some of you, I know that are more brand new and there's things to look forward to. And some of you have been around here for a while and probably said the reason that you've stayed is more for the community than your paycheck at times. And it is absolutely incredible. I too feel totally transformed because of Isagenix, and I'm not talking about the physical part. I mean, totally the emotional piece and the personal development. So all of this is amazing, and I love your heart. I love the vision. I love the simpleness that you keep it. Cindy Hedges did one of our calls a few weeks ago, and she was talking about how she and Janie built 12 years ago. And she was like, it was just so simple and fun because they hadn't been in it long enough to overcomplicate things. They didn't have social media. You know, when they started, they weren't really using it. And those two questions are so important. And I would love to just challenge all of you to ask those questions, you know, to 5 new people this week. You will be amazed at the answers you get. You will honestly be amazed. I swear, have judged people and think that they've got it all together, and they will tell you something that will shock you, that like motivates you to keep digging deep. So the last thing I'd love to ask you, Eric, we've got just a couple minutes, because I love when they get to hear from the family on how they use their products. We know your favorite product is the eShot, like without, maybe it's switching to Bia a little bit, but walk us through a day of how you use the products.
Okay, so the first thing that hits my lips in the morning is that a cold eShot. I mean, just like, it is like, especially with 2 kids now, I'm telling you, we should rename them P-shots for just like, they are liquid gold for parents out there. I mean, they are the best. So first thing, cold eShot. I've got my Bia right here that I'm drinking. Hope everybody's loving the new the mango mimosa. That's my favorite one. So eShot, I have my Ionix in the morning. So eShot Ionix. First thing, I mean, my breakfast for the last 12 years has been a shake. I kind of switch it up. I go between our plant-based shake and our dairy shake. I probably 80% plant-based, 20% I do the whey protein. So that's given every single morning. I have, let's see, usually I'll do a cleanse every 6 to 8 weeks, something like that. And typically when I do a cleanse, I do a 2-day deep cleanse. Some people, obviously, you know, whether it's a 1-day cleanse or a 2-day cleanse, I love the 2-day cleanse. I love the way I feel after a 2-day cleanse. So then I have usually minimum of 2 shakes every day. I've been just eating up the new plant-based Isopro. I mean, that just tastes so good, the new plant-based Isopro. And actually a little hack that I learned from Travis Ogden, our CEO, is that if you're like me after dinner, like you crave something a little bit sweet, usually my go-to is an Isodolite, but I also sometimes have a little bit of that plant-based Isopro after dinner, just like totally curbs the sweetness craving. So instead of, you know, reaching for desserts and stuff like that. So great thing to use there. The immune, I'll put the immune powder in my shake. I've actually been doubling up. I've been putting the immune in my shake, and then I've been having the immune with zinc spray under the tongue, especially in the last several weeks. I mean, those are like the total staples every single day. Obviously, when I'm traveling, I have our bars and a lot of our snacks and stuff like that. I mean, it's just like, it's such a foundation for me that is, I mean, if I think about all the things that I've been consistent with over the last 12 years, there's not really much else I've been that consistent with than putting these products in my body every single day. So after a workout, I have the Amp Repair, like just the taste on that is off the charts, tastes so good. So yeah, so those are like my staple products.
So good. We had a grocery delivery actually come early when we started the call. Ryan was like walking by, it's like me pointing. I'm like, there's groceries on the door. Like, will you please go get those? So I love that.
Oh, every morning. Right? I totally forgot the greens, the organic greens. Literally every morning. It's usually eShot. Then, and all I do is in the greens. I posted a lot on my Insta story. people always ask, what is that? Like, it's literally just, I get the shaker, I put ice in it, and then I shake up just 1 scoop of the organic greens, and then I pour it in a mason jar, because everything just tastes better in a mason jar. And then I drink that. So every morning I have the greens.
What do you think about the greens compared to moringa? A lot of people in here have just got their moringa, probably like just came in the mail, and they don't even know like much about it yet.
Well, Dr. Plant actually is going to be doing some more education on this, and I think he recently did a live in the business group about the difference between the super mix and then the greens. I'm just getting familiar with the super mix. Obviously, that was a Zija product with the moringa, which is just an unbelievably powerful ingredient. And that super mix, that was their #1 seller in Zija, top product. And it's a really, really great product. So I'm just getting familiar with that product. But I love the greens. And I mean, look, you can mix them both. You can add them to your shake. So whichever one you think suits better. But look out for that. Dr. Plant I think he did a recording in the business group about the difference between super mix and the organic greens.
So awesome. You guys don't hang up. I know we have a little bit more time, the rest of us. But Eric, before you go, is there any final words, any tips of advice, anything you want to say before you enjoy the rest of your Tuesday?
I just say thank you. Just thank you for your belief. Thank you for, championing this incredible vision of Isagenix. And, there's just so many people on the planet now more than ever that are just looking for what we have. I mean, they're looking for healthy nourishment every single day. They're unhappy with the way that they're feeling in their body, and they may not even know it. Clearly, there's people looking for additional streams of income. And look, it doesn't take a lot of income to change somebody's life. Like literally $200 extra a week or a month can have a significant impact on so many families' lives. And the community is like, what we have is just so special. And I'm just so grateful to be on this journey with all of you and kind of see this company evolve in the future. And, as we've talked about on this call, we all go through phases of the business. We go through times of crazy growth, but we also go through the tough times. But the growing doesn't just have to be people's incomes and revenue in the company and like sales growth. Like some of the greatest growth happens when like the company's plateauing or the company's declining or your business is like dipping. That's where some of the greatest growth as people, that's where it all happens, so that we can really set ourselves up for the next, exciting time of growth and momentum. And so, growth has so many different definitions, but the growth never really stops occurring no matter what's happening within your businesses, with what's happening with the whole big picture of Isagenix. But what we have is just so special. And with what the world has gone through over the last 8 weeks, I've never been more grateful for this gift that continues to nourish my life every day.
I agree with that. Well, thank you so much. Please tell PETA and your family hello. I'm going to unmute so that they can all give you a little bit of love. And don't hang up, you guys.
Yes, thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Eric. This was great.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So appreciate you.
Appreciate you.
Eric, thank you.
Okay.
Have a good day.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. I'm going to mute you guys.
It was awesome.
Jules is starting to talk and I'm like hitting the mute button. I didn't do that on purpose. That was just not good timing. You guys, so I hope that is valuable for you. And if you didn't see my post today, even though this is the last week and Sunday is the deadline, we do have a call on Monday. It's a week from tonight. That's a celebration call. Regardless if you hit it or not, we want everybody on it. I will tell you that we're just raising the bar week after week. And I'm so proud of you for those of you that have committed to staying on these calls and those of you that honestly have showed up. And I know last week, I think it was last week when Hayden was talking and Kisa texted me, like, it's amazing how many people have really stayed in this. And I agree. I mean, you have some skin in the game. But I have these calls lined up, you know, even before I put it out there. When I said, we're going to do this dash to director, like I said, I have to make sure I fulfill my end of the bargain if I tell them I'm going to have top speakers on every week. So I had the agenda lined up before I even knew if I was going to have you guys participating. You know, can you imagine if I had gone back and like, just kidding, no one wanted to do the contest, you know? So it's been really fun, and I'm excited. And each week that I'm doing the recognition on who's enrolled people and who's ranking fancy people, it's changing. Like every single one of you is doing incredible work. So I'm not going to say too much of some ideas I have for Dash to for Hidden Crystal Directors. I'm going to talk about it on the team call because everybody can be a part of that. But really, for you guys right now, I just want to give you a little bit of encouragement of like, kind of remember like why you started to do this, right? And I feel like at the end of a contest, there's going to be some people that hit it, right? Like Jules is so close, Laura is so close, like Kisa's so close, right? Like there's some of you that are going to nail this, but inevitably some people are not, and that tends to be a frustrating moment that it's like, oh, I said I was going to do something and I didn't, right? Like I don't ever want this to be something that takes the wind out of your sails. And even when I was encouraging some of you to do it and there was a little belief in yourself, and I said, are you kidding me? If you reach out to 10 people a week for 7 weeks, 70 people, you don't think you're going to enroll 2 people, and you were like, okay, I can do that. And you guys are all doing that. I mean, every single one of you, if you haven't even enrolled more and created a consultant, if not more, in the growth that you've had just by having access to this type of training and these types of leaders, like you're all going to look back and see how this propels you forward. And so regardless of what happens on Sunday night, exactly what Eric is saying, it's growth and it's movement. And this business shows up 90 days from whatever you did. So the people that are sleeping, as Eric said right now, and not working, you're not posting, you're not adding, you know, love into our pages, you're not about the culture, you're not having events, you're not whatever, your business is going to be even more flat in summer. And I'm not saying you guys, I'm just saying in general. But those of you that are working right now and you're like, man, for the last 7 weeks, I've been posting, right? Or for the last 7 weeks, I've been calling people. I am reaching out to people. Like, why is it not happening? Well, ask yourself what you did the 7 weeks before this or the 14 weeks before this, and you will see all of this show up. Like some of you are going to get closer to director as we hit the executive date, and that's okay. It's always forward motion, right? It's always progress. But I wanted to just wrap up tonight before we take a little break and then get on our team call. If you see a common denominator, right? Like I take notes in the chat and I take notes on my phone through all of these speakers because I'm always learning too. Many of them are saying very similar things, like very similar takeaways, but differently. They have different verbiage. So when Eric's talking about being resilient, that is exactly what Janie talked about being steely, the mental toughness, right? With weathering the emotions, it's the same type of thing. Like when his parents said, you have to go build this business because the highs and the lows and the rejection and everything that he had to learn, that's what they're talking about. So whether Hayden or Eric or Janie all call it something different, that's you showing up. Like that's you being able to keep posting when people unfriend you, when people judge you. You know, that's your toughness, that's your belief, that's your commitment. You know, when people talk about the hearsay of the company and you just keep focused, you know, when whatever that may be, when it's hard, you know, when it's not fun, when you're like, why is my team not doing anything? Why is my team not getting on calls? That you keep going, you know? And that stuff is super, super important. So those things that he talked about with your consistency and your resiliency, I could not agree more. But honestly, something that we probably don't talk enough about on this team because it's not a natural like trait of mine is the enthusiasm piece. And I wanted to circle back on that because that's what Jessica Rigner always talks about with excite and confuse. She's like, people are just going to be so drawn to you if you're excited about it, if you're having fun with it, if you're in love with it, way more than knowing everything, way more than rattling off every ingredient, knowing every in and out of the compensation plan. And I'm so red, I'm so driven, right? Like I'm so number oriented, I'm goal oriented, that I don't talk about that, but I will tell you, and this is not to be arrogant, but just to be honest, it's because I am incredibly enthusiastic. So I don't think about the fact that we need to talk about that, right? And I will say things sometimes like, well, your energy is going to attract the energy that comes in, or if you get on the call sounding like Eeyore, that person's not excited. If you get on the call fired up. But I love that that was the first thing that he said. Like even above when he said, what are the 3 things people are doing? Above consistency, above the resiliency, that is within every post, every, you know, Instagram or Facebook story, every reach out, every follow up, and understanding that there is a lot of things that are going to be attached to that energy. So if you are like, okay, I'm going to do my 3x3, right? And like follow up with all these people and you're burnt out and you're frustrated about it, why bother? You know, but like when you get on the phone and you're so excited and you message people and you're so excited, number one, you're going to get less rejection because they can't figure out what you're so excited about, but you're going to be able to roll that off so much easier. Like I was telling Ashley the other day, I'm messaging some pretty freaking big chicken list people in my network right now in the fitness industry because I'm so excited about this. And I'm just like really grateful for everything Isagenix has done for me. And I know how hard the fitness industry is hurting, right? And there are some people that are like literally mocking me left and right. Like, oh, I've never heard a pyramid scheme pitched that way. I mean like some pretty aggressive no's. But one of the things that a lot of people are saying too is like, but you know what? I actually listened to your entire message and I do want to get on that call with you because I've never seen someone so excited. Like when I look at things, like I really do feel like you love what you do. And that's one of the greatest compliments is that I rarely get people think I'm trying to sell them, because they see my service because I love it so much. So I just want to remind you of that as you go into your run this week. You know, every sticky note that's up, every Post-it note that's up, all of your accountabilities, whether you're trying to max your $100 or whatever it is that's driving you, is go back to those three things. Like Akisa, I totally agree. She's talking about Jenny's enthusiasm. I agree. When she sets up a call, I'm already excited to be on that call because of the way that she interests people and edifies people and what goes out there. I love that you just said that. So I think just go back to those three things and say, you know, what's my consistency? What's my resiliency? What is my enthusiasm like over the last 7 weeks? What will it continue to be like? And then those two questions, when you get someone excited, you know, I mean, how fun would it be just to reach out to some people and say, you know what, I just got off a call with the Chief Visionary Officer of our company, and I've been thinking about something. I would love to chat with you. There's two questions that I've just been asking people. If you have a few minutes, I'd love to have a coffee chat. I just want to ask you a couple questions, right? And be able to ask those two things. Imagine what people are going to tell you and then the gift you have to offer them. So I'm personally going to do it. I would encourage you guys to. But I'm so excited that you got on. I'm so thrilled that you guys have all been taking this challenge seriously, that you've committed to yourself, you've committed to your team. Please join us in 5 minutes for our team call. Laura is actually training, so it'll be nice to have someone else doing some of the training and speaking tonight. But anything you guys want, if you guys have questions, if you want help, I don't want you to ever think you're at too much of a point that like you need to do this on your own, right? Like when Rachel went from manager to executive, like for basically 2 days, we didn't hang up the phone. You know, we just kept calling people and calling people and calling people and calling people and doing three-way calls and doing three-way messages. And if someone's like, hey, will you help me and block off an hour and call 10 people with me? Like, I just want you to know, like, I'm super committed. Laura is super committed. Kisa is super committed. Like, we are all here and no one's going to be too busy to help you. So whatever it is, just don't ever feel like you are at a point you have to do this on your own. I still reach out for help. Literally, I text Janny a question about a rejection I got. And I said, what was it that you would say back to this person, right? And she called me and I said, Eric Hoover's doing our call, can I call you back, you know? But I'm still asking for help. I'm still like asking for people's input because everybody's a little bit different. So that's what this community, that's what this culture is all about. So congrats on another amazing, amazing week. I will get this recording up to you guys tomorrow and I'll see you on the team call in 5 minutes. Go eat a drink and go to the bathroom. Bye, you guys.